Automation is an interesting term, and we particularly our department is around integration and automation, and it's a very key point that whenever we do integration and automation or look at this potential scenario within any businesses, whether it's logistics, the wine industry, some of the other industries we've kind of gone into, which are financial services, it's all around understanding the business process and questioning the why before we even start looking at automation. So in most businesses, you would have a CRM system, and you're probably likely to have a finance system. So it is one of the more common use cases that we find within businesses. In terms of the CRM, though, it can be fundamentally different. In the logistics industry, you would have a lot to do with actually managing the delivery of the goods and keeping the customer visible of where that actually is from that perspective, as well as capturing the original order. So the CRM perspective can be very complex in certain environments or sometimes very simple. However, from an integration perspective, that data needs to be passed through. Now, the systems that are manual and they say, I want to now be automated, might be an Excel spreadsheet, and now I want that automated. But if we don't challenge the business process, you're just going to automate a bad process. So you need to challenge the process in the first place. So look at the CRM, the sales capture process. What are they actually doing? As an anecdotal example, in the logistics, what we heard through one of the conferences is that the current process was there was one document that was written up on a piece of paper in pencil. It was then handed to the driver, and the driver arrived at the other side, and then it was actually written into pen to hand it over to the customer. When it then returned to the office at the later stage, it was then highlighted, and then the further last example was that it was actually put through with a stamp that was sitting in the front office before it was loaded manually into the system. Now, looking at that process from the outside, everyone would say, oh my goodness, why? But you can understand from a business that started out with very nothing, a piece of paper is very cost effective, so it's a solution. However, from a business perspective, it's definitely not scalable, and it's definitely not automated. So we always have to look at the business process before we even think of integration or automation. And then taking one step further, once that's all done, then you look at artificial intelligence over and above that.